why do they feel that this is a problem at this point in time? Is there a sudden resurgence of girls being tomboys or dressed in a particular way? Suddenly, statistics show that there's a high number of, girls who are doing this. From the time I was growing up, there's a lot of tomboys around. My family, for example, just to take it on a very personal level, there's 6 girls in my family, and all of us were quite tomboys when we were growing up. There were no boys in the family, so I wonder why that kind of behavior needs to be criminalized. I mean, what's the thinking that goes behind the need to say that people who dress in particular ways are, what are they? Are they a menace to society? Are they dangerous? For me, this is another form of regulation with regard to how women dress. Yeah, that's basically what it is. And where do we draw the line? When does dressing up in trousers, for example, become tomboy or pengkit? So, like, how do you define it? If I dress up like this, then will someone think this is tomboy or pengkit? Or how do we decide? Does the trousers have to be this long? Or is it this long? Does it have to be baggy? Can it tuck in or tuck out? Like just little details like that. And I think when you do this, it comes to a point where it will become ridiculous, in terms of the enforcement especially. How will they decide it? There were a lot of tomboys in my school then. It's quite normal to have a few people who will be a bit more boyish compared to the rest. And I think for us, a women's group, a Muslim women's group as well, the idea of masculinity and femininity, both things, we feel that these are aspects of gender. And aspects of gender is a social process. Some people may be dressed in particular ways and then they grow out of it. It may be a phase, but then some people may continue with that. So the thing is like, when does it become dangerous when they are dressed? A lot of women now wear trousers to work. There's a more relaxed attitude with regard to how women are dressed, even in the business sector. How do you decide when it becomes forbidden? What kind of actions do they have to portray in order for them to cross that line? That, for me, would become a very gray area. And it will depend on the person who implements the law. And when you have a law that is quite vague, then the application is not going to be the same on everyone. Like I hit someone on the head, I can be charged. It's quite clear I can be charged for something. But then, if someone gets arrested for dressing like a man and behaving in a manly way, you need to describe exactly what is it a man, how is it a man is supposed to behave, and how is it a woman is supposed to behave. Then say exactly what kind of behavior this woman did that is manly and not womanly. Some people are just, a bit more tough compared to others. So then the law can be quite, how it's applied can be quite uneven. Yeah. So while this is at this point in time only a fatwa, if it gets gazetted, it becomes law. Then, if it becomes law, then that means you need to have enforcement. There'll be decisions in terms of what is the criteria, the fine print that dictates this is manly behavior, this is womanly behavior, this is manly clothing, this is womanly clothing. Then it becomes very problematic. Yeah, in terms, definitely is a law that will be really hard to implement if it ever gets gazetted.
I think the fatwa is merely restating what has already been the hukum. And as a Muslim, we all know the hukum is a woman must adhere to the way a woman should dress and behave. That is really restating what we have already know. It's just that when it's meant as a fatwa, it becomes stronger. So yes, I agree that a woman should not behave in a way that makes the public confused between a man and woman. And as well as man shouldn't make the public confused between a woman and a man. If he's a man, he's a man. If it's a woman, he's a woman. My understanding about what constitutes a tomboy is basically someone who acts, behaves like a boy, meaning her demeanor is such that people might think she's a boy, but she does not necessarily love women, because a lesbian would love woman, isn't it? And would engage in unnatural sex. Now that is forbidden as well. The fact that there is a difference between being a tomboy and being a lesbian does not negate the fact that being a tomboy is wrong as well. Being a lesbian is wrong and being a tomboy is wrong. But it's just that the degree is greater if you engage in unnatural sex, because unnatural sex is already a greater sin compared to just behaving like a boy. There's nothing wrong in being masculine. I mean, it's not like wearing pants is wrong. Wearing pants, slacks doesn't make you a tomboy. But I think what needs to be clarified is what constitutes menyerupai lelaki. That's when it's, I think the thing about Islam is that it encourages you to think, you know yourself. It's how you manage that problem. If you have a girl who likes men, but she just doesn't like to dress like a woman, then of course it becomes, from the Islamic viewpoint, it becomes a problem, because number one, if she dresses like a man, she is not covering her aura. Number two, if she dresses like a man, she will also end up acting like one, if she does act like one. So that will cause confusion in society. So what needs to be there really is a support system by counselors, friends, society. I think we have not come to a stage when we would just be very open about things and talk about it. Why do you dress like a boy? Is it just because you like dressing like a boy, or you do have certain unnatural inclination towards your own sex? We've not come to a stage where we've been able to openly discuss these issues. I think when we are more open, we can discuss, and then we know how to try and help the person control these tendencies. I think everything in society is never perfect, but if we have a proper system, and that system is supported well by existing institutions, then we can always try to manage the situation. As a Muslim and as a person who believes that, although I do believe that you should have, to a certain extent, freedom in making choices in life, but if you have chosen to be Muslim and you are Muslim, then you should understand that there are reasons why God has told us. It says that you should not engage in unnatural sex. Therefore, you do not engage in unnatural sex. Although you may sound feminine, but you are not gay or something like that. You try and restrain yourself. I think if we understand how God made society with so many different kinds of human beings, but God tells us, okay, these are the laws. You try your best. Try your best to follow what has been prescribed. And what we do is we manage the imperfections that we have in the society with the laws, guidance, and regulations which God has granted and given us.